Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Thank you guys so very much for clicking on today's video. Just before we go and talk about Jeffrey or Jeffrey, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment down below. Also follow me on all my socials, that is TikTok and Instagram at Baby Service. I forgot. So we're talking about Jeffrey or Jeffrey. I was not even thought of at the time, but based on, the recent thing with Jeffrey, I thought that it was something earlier near to the year that I would be born. But it was way into the 60s, the 1960s. Okay. Or that's when he was born, but it was into the 70s at that time when he started doing his crazy stuff. So I'll be using some full cover tips, and I'll be cutting it down into a almond. I feel like I just said a lot of words a while ago, but I will be cutting it into an almond shape, after which I'll file, and then I'll start my nail art portion. I had to cut down this a significant amount because I was running into 2 hours and counting, and nobody got time for that. Nobody got time to sit and watch me doing a lot of detailing. I mean, mind you, I'm not quite sure if the drawing is close to Jeffrey, but it can work. It can go on. So yeah, let's jump on into this. So I'll be reading from Crime Museum. Why am I saying that? That's Museum. Crime Museum. So yes. So I'll be reading a synopsis of his life. I'm thankful for that because I was thinking that we had to go through the whole Netflix series just to get what, and I thought that this was, good that I decided to search this, right? Enough with the rambling, let's go. So Jeffrey was an American serial killer and also a sex offender. He was born on May 21st, 1960. So I wasn't even thought of the time. As I said, I thought it was something earlier into the 90s, but no. I wasn't even thought of. My mother wasn't even thought of, right? So think about it. All right, so between the years of 1978 and 1991, still wasn't thought of. Jeffrey murdered 17 males in truly horrific fashion. He raped, dismembered, necrophilia. If you don't know what necrophilia is having sexual pleasures. The thought of get sexual pleasures in having sex with the dead. I mean, it can be a thought also, it can be an action, right? And he was into cannibalism, where he eat people. He ate the body parts of the people. Oh my God. Do they drain me? So by most accounts, Jeffrey had a normal childhood. In most serial killer documentaries that I do watch, it stems from something. It's not nothing, It comes from somewhere. So I feel as though there's something more to the story, or maybe he's just 1% that is just born to be a serial killer. Which when children are born, they're very not sinful or not sinful. So yeah. So when they have the mind to think, that's when they become, sinful. So yeah. So they said he had a normal childhood. However, he became withdrawal and he didn't communicate much as he got older. He began showing little to no interest in hobbies or social interactions as he entered adolescence. I feel as though that's where parenting comes into play, and based on watching a little snips of something, because I'm very interested in these things, his parents were divorced at the time, or becoming divorced, so they were separated. Then the mother moved out. Also, they said that the mother had some mental troubles, which was depression and stuff like that. So I mean, all of this has come into play with what happened during his adolescence years. So it's rough. So turning instead of examining animals, he examined animals. While I was watching that little documentary thing, he examined dead animals. Him take out the bone and want to see what is inside of it. I don't know. I don't even have the guts to do those stuff, you know? So he examined animals. He was heavy. He was a heavy drinker. Drinking. What? I'm reading barefoot. Examining animal carcasses and heavy drinking for entertainment. Oh! So he inspected animals, dead animals. It could be rotten, decomposing. He examined them and he drank heavy as entertainment. No, you tell me no. You tell me. So his drinking continued throughout high school, but did not stop him from graduating in 1978. By then he would have been 18 years old. So he actually started killing at the age of 18. My God. He was just 3 weeks later, 18, and he committed his first murder. Due to this, his parents unfolding, as I said, his parents divorced that same summer that he graduated, and he was also 18 at that time. Jeffrey was left in the home alone, the family home alone. So nobody really cared about him. Poor guy. He seized the opportunity to act on the dark thoughts. You see, this is what happens when you give teenagers a lot of room. Your mind starts wandering and you start to play out what your mind is wondering. It happens to the best of us. With a lot of things we think of, even if it's not criminal like stuff, we think about certain stuff and we want to apply what we thought about. So I mean, that's just normal to me. So the thoughts were getting darker. He picked up a hitchhiker, and this was his first victim. This was Steve Hicks, and he offered him to take him back to his father's house to drink beer. But when Hicks decided to leave, Dahmer hit him in the back of his head with a 10-pound dumbbell. You know, a lot of times you think about this and you read this, and it's almost like you feel sorry for these people. But I mean, he was drinking fairly heavily, so you could only imagine he wasn't thinking straight, and he had those thoughts. So all of that had come into play. Well, Dahmer then dissect, dissolve, pulverize, and scattered the known guys, let me bear with me because them already are kind of imperceptible. I don't know what that means, but I'll pop it on screen. Remains throughout his backyard and admitting to killing him simply because he wants Hicks to stay. That's loneliness right there. 9 years would pass before he killed again. So he killed at 18. 9 years passed. To do the maths, that would be 27. I'm not sure. So Dahmer attended college, but that fall he dropped out due to alcohol. After this, his father forced him to enlist in the army, which he served as a combat medic in Germany from 1979 to 1981. So during those periods, he was productive. Hence why he didn't kill not for 9 years. So once you become productive, your mind is doing something, you tend not to think about your intrusive thoughts like that. So kudos to his father. However, he never kicked the habit. He was discharged at spring, moving back to Ohio. After this, drinking continued to cause problems. His father sent him to live with his grandmother in West Alice. That is by 1985, he was frequenting gay bathhouses where he would do drugs with men and rape them and they lay unconscious. Although he was never arrested for the incident of indecent exposure in 1982 and 1986, he was faced probation and was not charged for the rapes. That's the carelessness to me. The word is pluralized, rapes. Come on now, you got to be kidding me. He raped multiple men. So he should have been locked up. If he was locked up, then I'm sure say a significant amount less people that would have died. Yeah, anyways. The video is going quite quickly. During the period Dahmer was arrested, no, don't reach that far. Steve Ptolemy was his second victim, killed in September of 1987. Dahmer picked him up from a bar and took him back to a hotel room, where he woke up the next morning to beating Stephen's dead body. He later stated that he had no memory of actually murdering the guy. Is that you go into to something like, is that dead behavior? You know. I don't want to diagnose him because I know absolutely nothing about mental health, and I don't want to go there. So I mean, this kind of concludes right here because the video is coming to its halt. I wish that I could have done a little bit more, because it's literally telling you all about the other victims and how he did it. Very interesting. I already know how this guy died, by the way. He died by a black guy hitting him in the head. That's in November 28, 1994. At that time, I still was not thought about. So you can only imagine. So thank God. I mean, he would have been in prison for the rest of his life. There was no bailing opportunities. We didn't want this guy back on the streets. Even though I'm living in America, we still never want him back on the streets. So, if you enjoyed today's video and you think that we can do more things like these, definitely like this video and also subscribe. Remember to follow me on all my socials, that's Instagram and TikTok at Bear Beauty Services. It's quite interesting, to be honest, and as I said, based on some of the serial documentaries that I watch, the behavior stem from something as to why they play out in preteen, teenage, adolescents, and those. So it's not something that happens overnight, you know. So yeah, so if you enjoyed today's video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.